I'm here to talk to you this morning about tithing and why it's important in your life. I can't speak for everyone else, but I can surely give my story and tell you how it's affected me. I was raised in church. I always knew that you're supposed to tithe 10% and give it to God, and I did for a long time. Sometime later in life, I just got to where I was short this week or didn't have it this month, and I just kind of got away from it. I got divorced several years ago, and I was driving a two-door baby blue Hyundai Accent. Pastor Charlie called it the organ donor. I was living in a one-bedroom apartment and was barely scraping by. One of the ignition coils on the car actually went out. I didn't have the $80 to replace it and get it repaired. I actually had to sell some property to be able to pay for it. I mean, I was dead broke. For extra money, I started working security for here at the church. Wednesday night youth they have upstairs, they had some pretty rough kids that were going there, and they were actually having to pay police officers to be up there for 3 hours a night. I started talking with Pastor Charlie and got into a relationship with him, and he actually talked me into start coming to the church. After a while of attending the church and doing that at the same time, I kind of felt really bad about taking the church's money because it was something that I just wanted to do. And Charlie said, it's your work, so you should at least get paid for it. You're paying your tithe, right? And I had to look at him and say, no, I'm not. And he goes, that's okay, you're just robbing God. And he was joking about it, but I took it very seriously, and he's 100% right. That 10% is his. So I started tithing. My life completely changed. I got remarried, and things just turned around 110%. It was one of those things to where I didn't have anything, and then I already had a wife, and we had a house, and I had a savings account, and things were just starting to, work its way up. My first test was a child support hearing. My ex-wife called for a child support hearing, and I went and consulted an attorney, and based on the percentage of what you make, the bottom line was I was going to have to pay $200 more a month. Of course, nobody wants to hear that they're going to have an extra $200 more a month, especially when you start to get your head above water. I got very angry, I got very upset, and I said some things I shouldn't, and I let my anger for the situation interfere with my children. Police officers are normal people. We make mistakes, and we're angry, and we're upset, and we're just like everybody else at times. I try to say that because it humanizes the badge. A lot of people nowadays in today's climate, they look at police officers as, big bad evildoers, and that's not the case at all. So I spoke with Pastor Charlie about this, and he gave me some good advice. He said, you need to put this in God's hands and pray about it. And I did. Surprisingly, a few days later, I got this check in the mail, and it was completely out of nowhere, and it was for over $2,000. It was going to pay for the first year of my increase in the child support. As soon as I seen it, I knew where it came from. It brought tears to my eyes. I got just overwhelmed with joy, and I knew that this was God providing, whereas I didn't have the money. He provided and made a way. So I went to the child support hearing. This is a God thing when I say, after the child support hearing was concluded, she got $200 more a month for the kids, and I made $100 more on my paycheck. How do you explain that? That's a God thing. Recently bought a home this last year. We started remodeling it. I can tell you we probably poured $10,000 into that thing this year or last year. By comparison, life with tithing and life without tithing, I don't see how you can afford not to. This is just my personal story. I hope that you take this to heart and realize that we're not out there shaking you or turning you upside down and looking for the change in your pockets. The change comes for you. And you decide that you want to tithe, you'll be blessed for it. It's hard to explain. It's literally supernatural what happens when you live in obedience to God's will.